Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you the Base AI recap from our UFC prediction software from last weekend at UFC Vegas 64. Base AI hit 91% last weekend across the straight pick predictions. That was the accuracy, and that also equates to 10 correct predictions, winner and loser, out of the 11 fights that happened. So 91%, great numbers. And listen, from this perspective with the breakdown, I could go through every single fight, and talk about it, but we are going to pick some of the better winners, some of the solid winners. And there's also a surprise winner as well that kind of falls in the surprise winner, but also a solid winner, which I'll talk about soon as well. But as I've mentioned, we're going to start with some of the better, more solid winners. And we start with Tamires Vidal versus Ramona Pascual. Now, what I liked about this is obviously Tamires Vidal made a UFC debut and Base AI was all over it. Like, Base AI had Vidal winning at 55%, which again, from a UFC debutant, it would have been very easy for the software just to pick up Ramona Pascual, who's got that UFC experience. But at 55%, Vidal to win, I think, is a solid prediction. Now, odds implied that is -122, and depending on when you bet Vidal, depends on if and when you got profit from this Base AI prediction, because Vidal opened at a -235 favourite, but she closed at around -105. So again, if you got her at close, you'd have got some value on that -122 line. Obviously, if you bet her earlier in the week and you didn't wait for that line to drop, then there wouldn't have been some value at some point. So again, a solid prediction from Base AI for a UFC newcomer. Then the next fight we need to talk about, Johnny Munoz versus Liudvik Sholinian. Now, Munoz personally was a bet from me. It was my biggest bet of the year. I had 4 units on him to win at -187. Now, Base AI also agreed with me here. It had Munoz to win at 65%. Now, at 65%, the odds implied is -186. So like I said, if you'd bet Munoz sort of around the same time I'd bet Munoz, could have got him at -187. Again, there's not a ton of value in there, but it's roughly where Base AI was saying that the line should be. Obviously, a ton of Munoz money did come in throughout fight week. He closed at around -260, -270. So obviously at that point, there's no value from what Base AI was saying. But again, still a very solid prediction. Munoz went out there. He comfortably won 30-27, obviously 29-28 on one card. So yeah, another solid prediction from Base AI at 65%. Base AI is relatively confident that fighter's going to win at around that sort of percentage. And the next fight to move on to, Polyana, Viana. Man, this was an absolutely astonishing finish from Viana. Like, lit Jinh Frey up with a massive combination and knocked her out. Base AI had Viana to win at 55%, odds implied -122. Now, if you'd bet Viana early, you could have got her at plus money at around +100. But obviously, the money did come in on Viana throughout fight week. She closed at around -140. So obviously, if you got her at close, there wouldn't have been much value or any value on that Base AI prediction. However, if you had hit her as the line was climbing, you would have got around -110, -120 at some point. So at those lines, then, yeah, you'd have had some value from, again, the Base AI prediction. But we can take this one step further. Like, Viana inside the distance, so that's knockout and submission added together, that was 39%, odds implied +108. Now, Viana to win inside the distance, bear in mind she wins pretty much all her fights inside the distance. When she does win, +200 to +260 was the range there. So you could have got a +200, +250, +260 ticket on something Base AI is saying that should be +108. So again, a ton of value there from Base AI. And now we're moving over to Tagir Ulanbekov versus Nate Maness. Now, Base AI had Ulanbekov to win at 60%. Now, odds implied, that's -150. There isn't any value there because Ulanbekov opened at around -175. He closed at around -250. So there wasn't much value in that money line. However, you can take this a step further. Ulanbekov inside the distance, that's knockout and submission added together. You also get DQ. Also, Base AI was saying Ulanbekov to win inside the distance is 34%. Odds implied, that's +194. But if you'd bet Ulanbekov inside the distance, you'd have got a +300 ticket. So again, a ton of value. If you didn't like the money line, you could have looked into this fight a little bit more and found the value inside the distance. Or if you really wanted to be brave and you wanted to go for Ulanbekov by submission, that was the highest method of victory For Ulanbekov, that was 27% Bayes AI had that predicted at. 27% odds implied is plus 270. And on the ticket, on the betting lines, you would have got plus 450. So again, obviously in these types of fights, you look for the money line. If you don't like the money line, if there's no value in that for you, then again, you can explore. And this is why Bayes AI is great, because you've got so many different options that you can try and look into and take. And it doesn't take long just to add a knockout and submission together, get a number, and then start looking at where the bookies have got it, or just pick the method of victory outright. So again, a ton of value on that Tagir Ulanbekov fight outside of that money line win. And finally, we get to the surprise winners section, and this is the one where it's a solid prediction as well, but the reason I put it in surprise winners is because I did think Marina Rodriguez was going to win the fight. Obviously, spoiler alert, we've got Amanda Lemos versus Marina Rodriguez, which was the main event. Like I said, it was a solid prediction from Bayes, but for me, I was a little bit surprised that Lemos won, at least in the way that she won. So that's why I put it in the surprise winners section here. Now, Lemos to win, Bayes AI had at 54%. Odds implied, that's minus 117. Bayes AI was saying that she should have been a very, very slight favourite. But you could have actually got anywhere between plus 175 and plus 220 on Amanda Lemos to win, depending on when you'd bet her throughout fight week. That's crazy value for somebody that Bayes AI is saying that should be a slight favourite, and you're getting a 2-to-1 betting ticket on it. That's insane value. Then you can take it further. Lemos to win inside the distance, that's knockout and submission together, as I've already said, 41%. Odds implied on 41% is plus 144. Bayes is saying that, yeah, 41%, just under 50%. But when you consider that Lemos was 54% to win the fight outright, Bayes AI saying there's a very good chance if Lemos wins, it is going to be by finish. So at plus 144 odds implied, again, you could have got a plus 300 betting ticket. Insane value. We're going to take it one step further. We all know that Lemos has got power. She's got that knockout shot. She's finishing fighters in the division. If you wanted Lemos via KO TKO rather than inside the distance, Bayes AI said for knockout it's 28%. Odds implied, that's plus 257. You could have got Lemos to win via knockout at plus 400 to plus 420. So again, insane value across the board, whether you're betting Lemos money line as an underdog, whether you're betting her to win inside the distance, whether you're betting her to win by KO TKO, and if you're absolutely mental and you're betting all three, then man, you had a good night. So listen, Bayes AI also had a good night from the UFC prediction software. Like I said, 91% overall, and the results were phenomenal, and again, a couple of real good gems inside there as well. So can't wait for UFC 281 to see which way Bayes AI is siding for the main event with Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. So I'll be back with another recap next weekend covering this weekend, and we'll see you next time.